away anytime now through the end of March. All you have to do is go to garagelogic.com and click the link, Courtyard by Marriott.
Thank you. We're joined by independent party candidates Chase Oliver running for president, Rebecca Whiting running for U.S. Senate in Minnesota. Chase, you're not from Minnesota. Here we go.
There we go. No, I am not from Minnesota. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm happy to be up here and enjoying the state fair.
And Rebecca, you're up Bemidji way?
Yep, Bemidji. Libertarian Party, actually.
I'm sorry, Libertarian Party. And Chase, you've been called by Rolling Stone magazine as the most influential libertarian in America. What exactly does that mean?
Well, you know, that was the quote given to me when I caused the runoff in the race between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. It was the most expensive U.S. Senate race in history. They spent $250 million, and for about the cost of a used car, I forced a runoff in that most expensive race in history. So it kind of got me a lot of name recognition, and we're pretty good at putting the name out there for punching above our weight, doing a lot with very little.
How far is this country from ever electing a libertarian?
You know, I think we're getting closer and closer to that. I think more and more voters are fully not identifying as a Democrat or Republican anymore. Over half the voters out there identify as independent of the two major parties. And I think voters want to see more choices on their ballot. They want to see candidates that more accurately reflect their lives and their values. And we're just not getting that from a two-party system that pulls us further and further back.
Yeah, I
think voters are going to build it up.
Neither Trump nor Harris reflect anything I'm interested in. There's not a chance in hell I'm interested in either of them. I feel terribly politically lonely. Rebecca, you're a war vet.
I am, yes.
Two tours?
2 tours are at Combat Medic.
And you helped your family build a farm in Bemidji?
From scratch, actually. When we moved in there, it was just woods, and we took down every tree, built every building from the ground up.
And you're running against Amy Klobuchar.
Yes.
I don't think she can match your service history.
No, I don't think so.
No. And how's your campaign going?
It's going really good, actually, because there's a lot of people that are just frustrated with what they've been handed. Mm-hmm. And then in my case, like the last time Amy Klobuchar ran a race, she won by, it was like 23% against her Republican opponent. And so that's an opportunity for me because the Republicans don't have a strong candidate running against Amy Klobuchar even this year.
Right.
And I can go into this race knowing full well what the odds are and how stacked against me they are, and then approach this campaign with the gloves off.
The candidate is Royce White.
Yep.
Which I don't understand what the Republicans were thinking. He's not a legitimate candidate. If you get 5% of the vote, would you get major party status?
Oh, well, actually, what happened is that in 23, the Democrats changed the rules because they had the legislative majority.
Yeah.
And so now it's 8%.
Oh,
We would have to
8%.
get. Yeah, they wanted to take it up to 10%. That was the original law that they tried to get through committee. But they were gracious enough to drop it down and only ask for 8%.
What would you do differently than Amy?
I would stop voting to fund all the foreign wars.
Okay.
And she ran initially on criticism of the Iraq War in 2006. In 2006, I was in Baghdad during the surge, on the ground as a medic, living out their decisions in D.C. in real time.
Right.
So she got into office, and she has just funded every, Ukraine, Israel, whatever it is. And there's been a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's not just Iraq and Afghanistan. There was Yemen. We've been involved in every conflict in the world since my entire adult life.
Chaser, you're also invested in the idea that let's withdraw some of the war activity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I got my start in politics, while Rebecca was out fighting in Iraq, I was out in the streets protesting against sending people like her to Iraq because I thought good people didn't have to go fight in these wars overseas. It wasn't in the best interest of the United States. And I'm a real skeptic of militarism around the world. I think we should have a strong military, certainly. If we're attacked, we should be able to defend ourselves. But I don't think the best way to export our values is with the bomb, the bullet, and the drone. I think we can do it much better through free trade, voluntary cooperation with each other, and diplomacy. It used to be the rational thing to say we're going to be a diplomat first and then use militarism as a last resort, and that seems to have gotten caught up and kind of reversed itself somewhere along the process. And as a libertarian, I want to see that going back to focusing on diplomacy.
Well, when I look at the landscape, who in God's name would be the diplomats?
Exactly. Well, we have to be the diplomat. We have to be the ones that tell our allies that, peace has to be an option. We can't continue to be exporting these, huge billion-dollar military projects around the world. And I would challenge someone like Donald Trump, who claims he didn't start any new wars. Well, he maybe didn't start any new wars, but he sold $150 billion or some odd of weapons to the Saudis, who committed a war in Yemen. So he is still committing a war foreign policy, and we need to have a reverse course there.
Are you guys, is there a booth here for the Libertarian Party at the fair?
Down Nelson Street,
Okay.
kind of towards the dairy barn from here.
Are you getting activity?
Oh, yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people stopping by.
Yeah, and I encourage anybody who's hearing this right now to stop by, talk to us, ask us questions about policy, ask us questions about how we would run, both in our respective races, and we hope to earn your vote this November.
Now, Rebecca, you stay in Minnesota to run. You're not leaving the state, but
Right.
Chase, I imagine you're traveling all over.
Oh, yeah. Well, after Minnesota, I head back home for a crisp 24 hours to do all my laundry, and then I'm
Yeah.
on the way to Knoxville, Tennessee to campaign in there, and then we're going to be having me all over the place. Me and my running mate, Mike Termott, are staying very busy. I've actually traveled to all 50 states campaigning. I'm the first presidential candidate that we've ever been able to find on record that's campaigned in all 50 states. Only 4 sitting presidents have visited all 50, so I got that energy to get out there and meet as many voters as possible.
And you're both young. How old are you?
I'm 39. I will be 39 on Election Day, half Donald Trump's age. Would have been less than half of Joe Biden's, but c'est la vie. He is no longer running.
Rebecca, you're a young woman. How old are you?
That's secret.
that's
But
a
I was
secret.
told actually that you were going to ask about the cylinder index. I feel like that's a more important number.
I would like to know your cylinder index.
Well, I'll tell you my age first. It's 43.
Yeah, okay.
So,
You're young too.
Yeah. Yep.
What's your cylinder index?
Well, you should tell me what yours is first.
Well, now I'm urban, that,
Yeah.
and that always impacts the cylinder index. Chase, the cylinder index is the way self-esteem can be measured by counting the number of cylinders you have, lawnmowers and cars and whatever. Mine is not my age anymore. It was my age, but I'm below my age. I think I'm at about 52.
Okay, well, that's respectable.
Yeah, where are you?
61.
61's not bad. You're above your age.
Yeah, a little bit.
And your husband, I would imagine, is not 61.
No, he's younger than I am.
Okay, so he's safe. So you got a good cylinder index.
Yep.
And you can count stuff on the wall. Dead cylinders from a lawnmower on a shelf. They count.
Well, I stopped, so I didn't actually count all that. I just counted the working running vehicles.
Well, you can count everything. Chase, given your schedule, I got to think you got a pathetic CI.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm suffering from cylinder envy over here
Yeah,
or whatnot. I live in the city of Atlanta, not a lot of yard for me to have a lawnmower, so I think our cylinder count is 10 because I got my car and the Jeep. So yeah, it is a pathetic cylinder count compared to those of you folks up here in Minnesota, I'm sure. My apologies, but I gotta say we got some great peaches and we got Coca-Cola and lots of great stuff down in Atlanta. Just
Yeah.
not a lot of need for a lot of cars because there's nowhere to park them.
Sid, where does the Libertarian Party stand on what I have my suspicions about, the Green New Deal?
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't want to see government kind of facilitating those things. I think if we want green energy, consumers can demand it and providers can provide it. We don't need this huge government structure telling people what to spend on and what to buy. They can do that themselves. Let's trust the free market. I trust the individual decisions that all these people out here are going to make a heck of a lot more than I trust the central planning of 435 members of Congress
So do
or the
I.
people in your state house. I don't know about you. I trust my neighbors a little bit more than professional politicians.
Right. Rebecca, where do you stand?
I understand that trying to take down an old maple tree with an electric chainsaw is a task that's impossible. So
Right.
if the market, like you said, I would follow Austrian economists. So if you haven't heard of that, go Google it. Murray Rothbard, Ludwig von Mises. If you want to know more, go Google those names.
All right.
But so the free market, if it, like I said, if there's a need for it, the people will ask for it, and then the market can then provide the needs. And so we should not be asking the government to fix our needs for us, or worse, mandate a problem that doesn't exist.
There apparently has been no need for electric vehicles because the manufacturers can't sell them. The market does not want them.
Yeah, I think a lot of that also is, here's the thing. If you think it's a green vehicle, if you're plugging it into a coal-fired power plant, how green are you really being? You're just actually pulling a lot of heavy metals from the earth to build the lithium batteries that are being created for these vehicles.
It's terrible.
We can do much better, and, I think, again, we're going to find those solutions in the future. because the market will provide them, not because government will give it. You know, government gave billions of dollars of subsidies to the electric car manufacturers.
Right.
And you can't blame them for taking the money on the table, but we got to keep taking the money off of the table and letting them have to build these vehicles for themselves and develop these technologies. And it'll be a heck of a lot better than whatever the government gives us.
Well, I wish you both luck, and thanks for stopping by. And you can talk to fairgoers up at the Libertarian
Yep. We'll
booth.
be there.